6-2 in Advanced Algebra 1. Oh, we're just adding one little twist. Same stuff we did last time, but can you see today we have some negative exponents involved with it. Negative exponents have such a simple rule. We're starting with some real basic ones. These ones are actually so easy that they become hard for us. You see there's like no letters in there whatsoever, it's just fraction, like 3/7. Well, here's like some rules of like math. If you have a negative exponent, like we do right there, you see that is a negative exponent. All that negative part of the exponent means is, hey dude, I need you to reciprocate that base. And reciprocate is a fancy math word for, please flip it over, right? You know, to take the reciprocal of something, can we flip it over? So what is the reciprocal of 3/7? So we're going to rewrite that as 7/3. And then what that does is it makes the negative part of the exponent go away. That's what the negative did, was reciprocate that base, right? So do you see there's still a 2 there, but he is now positive. Are we okay with that? And now it's pretty simple. Let's not type 7/3 squared into our calculator, though. Let's just do them individually. Do we know what 7 squared is? 7 squared is 49. Do we know what 3 squared is? It is 9. There's our answer. And since 7/3 couldn't reduce, when you square it, 49 ninths won't reduce either in that case. So let's do this again. Here's how you need to start talking to yourself. This is why I like this chapter, because you really have to talk yourself through the jam, right? Are there negative exponents? Yes or no? Yes. So we'll reciprocate the base. That will be 3/4. It will be raised to the positive 4th. Now, of course, we can use a calculator, right? You know, I'm not expecting you to know what 3 to the 4th is or 4 to the 4th is, but I just don't want you to type 3/4 to the 4th. Some calculators will give it back to you as a fraction. Most of them will give it to you as a decimal. Plus, it also teaches you how to use, to start seeing some of these numbers. So 3 to the 4th is 81. And what's 4 to the 4th, baby? That's going to be a big number. 256, right? Are we okay with the concept here? Negative exponents just reciprocate the base. But boy, number 3 gives people a hard time. Because question, does it have a negative exponent? Yes or no? I need to take the reciprocal of 12. Do you know what 12 is as a fraction? 12 over 1, right? You know, so what's the reciprocal of 12? 1 over 12. Hey, a little pet peeve of mine is these two things right here, I can't even write the other one, mean very different things. You see the top one is correct, because don't I want the entire 1/12 to be squared? If you only wrote the bottom one, if you didn't put those parentheses, the only thing that's getting squared is the 1. You know, it's like we don't want that. So make sure when you have a fraction raised to a power that you put it in the parentheses. So 1/12 squared, how do you feel about 1 over 144, baby? Are we okay with that? Cool. That gets the concept of negative exponents, but boy, does it turn into a mess when we start doing the things with the letters. So I created another game, right? You know, the where are there more game. Did you find that pretty easy to deal with, right? The where are there more game. Here's what negative exponents do. Yes, they reciprocate the base, but boy, when you've got some r's upstairs and some r's downstairs, or some s's upstairs and some s's downstairs, it makes life messy. So here's what we do. Negative exponents change houses. So let's roll one at a time. Starting with a fraction bar, I'm only going to deal with r's. Are there any negative exponents with the r's? Nope. So back to old school. Where are there more r's? Upstairs or downstairs? Upstairs. And would you believe that there is one more upstairs? And if you like to do this, you're welcome to. You don't have to. You can then cross those out to realize you've dealt with them. Dealt with the r's, right? Now there are s's. Are there negative exponents with the s's? So I'm going to do this the long way. You watch. See if you can handle the shortcut, because we are advanced. So here's the long way. This is the guy with the negative exponent. He's got to change houses. So would you believe he is downstairs? Are you with me on that? To change houses, you go upstairs, and your exponent becomes positive in that case. But the weird thing is, watch this, wasn't there already an s squared up there, right? And if you bring an s cubed up there, remember, because he changed houses, his exponent becomes positive in that case. That's the reciprocating the base kind of thing. It just totally makes you go to the other house. Don't you have like s squared times s to the third upstairs. What the heck is s squared times s to the third? S to the fifth, right? So if we can maybe handle a shortcut, we already had that r right there, and then there was 2 s's upstairs already. Didn't 3 more come up to join it, right, in that case? So there is a total of 5 s's up there. And then we have nothing left downstairs, so shouldn't we put that 1 there? Since I had a fraction bar, I like to put the 1. Either that or erase the fraction bar. You can't just leave it like that. You know what I'm saying? If you have a fraction bar, put a 1 or erase it. When you're typing stuff in the homework, if you didn't want to type it, you got to delete all the fraction bars or just put the 1 down in the bottom. Weird. Let's try that again. Start with a fraction bar, and let's go one at a time. C's. Are there negative exponents? Yep. So these guys are going to change houses. They are upstairs. Shouldn't they have to come downstairs? Are there already C's down there? Yes. So there are 3 C's down there already. Would you believe 1 more C is coming to join it? So how many total C's? 4 C's. D's. Same on top and bottom. What happens to those? They cancel out. Peace out, Girl Scout. And then F's. There are negative exponents with the F's. So these dudes right here are going to change houses. They're going to come upstairs. There are already 4 F's upstairs. 3 more are coming up there. So how many total F's are there going to be? 7. You see how simple it is if you go one little dude at a time. All right? So let's talk about this guy right here also on number 6. Are there negative exponents? Have you noticed this is the main question of this? I'll just tell you, this is the main question of the chapter. Are there negative exponents, right? On number 6, are there negative exponents? It is not a fraction, though, so we're going to make him a fraction. We're going to put him over 1. If it's not a fraction, let's put him over 1. And let's roll one at a time. Starting a new quest right here. I'm going to go with P's. What do you think? Do P's stay in their house or do they change houses? They stay. They have a positive exponent on it. Q's stay in their house or change houses? Change. They're going down. There were no Q's down there, so those just become downstairs, go positive. And R's, shouldn't they change houses because they have a negative exponent? There were no other R's down there, so it's just a positive 3. Just one thing at a time. If you have a negative exponent, you need to change houses. Did I do something wrong? People were looking at it. Is that okay? Cool. Let's try again. Uh-oh. Who's in the mix now? Who is in the mix? What are those numbers called? Starts with a C, fancy word. Coefficients, right? Same story as before. They just reduce, right? And what people get very freaked out about is, you see that 12 is negative? That has nothing to do with change in houses because it is not a negative exponent, right? It is just a negative number, right? It is negative 12 over 2. What does that fraction reduce to, baby? Negative 6 over 1. It's cool if you don't put the 1 in the downstairs, right? Oh, no. Look at those T's. Negative exponents downstairs, negative exponents upstairs. I would ask you to not be a hero and try to do this in one move. We're going to do this in a couple of moves. Talk to me about this. Should it change houses? Yes or no? So that would become a T cubed upstairs. And this other dude becomes a T to the first downstairs. Are you with me on that? As we get more comfortable, maybe you can do that in one move, but I would say 9 times out of 10, we're probably going to make a mistake as a rookie on this, right? So we're just going to say, okay, I got a double switch house. I'm just going to do it, and then I'll clean it up later. Let's roll with the U's. Do the U's have any negative exponents? Nope. So where are there more? Upstairs. Done with the U's. And do the X's have any negative exponents? They sure do. So, but just one set of them, right? So shouldn't those 4 X's go downstairs where there was already 5 X's? So shouldn't there be 9 X's total down there? Now, why is this not a good final answer? Because I still have T's up, T's down, right? You know, T's up, T's down. So there's no negative exponent, so I'll just start completely over. The negative 6 is still up there. Where are there more T's? Upstairs. And then the U's are good and the X's are good. But yeah, to get it all final, you can't have the variable more than once. Groovy? All right, let's try another one. Coefficients. can they reduce? What's 22 divided by 11 turn out to be? 2 over 1. And then they do the old put the letters in different order for us. You see, like upstairs the X's come first, and downstairs the Y's come first. Just be careful. Watch your letters. Let's roll with X's, because I usually start upstairs. There are some negative exponents, but not both up and down. So put your X's where you think they need to go. And show your neighbor. So I put them here. How do you feel about x to the 7th downstairs? Right? Now deal with your y's. Do the y's have any negative exponents? Nope. So there are more y's upstairs. Yeah? Cool. Another one. 6/18 is our coefficient. That can reduce. Please get it reduced. Doesn't 6 go into each one of those? You can always use a calculator to reduce it. You know, it's like, it doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm just making sure we know that, like, that can reduce by 6. 6 goes into 6 one time. 6 goes into 18 3 times. Cool? Ooh, look at those F's. Are there negative exponents? But is it the same on top and bottom? So, like, regardless if they're positive exponents or negative exponents, if it's the same thing upstairs, downstairs, peace out, Girl Scout, those cancel out, right? So, cool. G's, there are definitely some negative exponents with the G's. So that would be G to the 8th upstairs, right? And then we've got some H's. It ain't too bad, is it? You know, just one thing at a time. We feel pretty okay so far. All right, let's step it up, baby. Here's the moral of the story. I got some instructions typed out for you to when you're looking back. You see you got like a fraction raised to a negative exponent. Here's what we're going to do. We're still going to follow the order of operations. We are going to clean up the inside just like we did before. But what we're going to do is the same thing. We're going to bring the parentheses with the -5 as an exponent down. We'll deal with that -5 later, right? We're going to clean up the inside. So let's do it. Q's. Are there any negative exponents on the Q's? So there are 2 of them downstairs total. Ooh, R's, don't those cancel each other out, right? So they're gone. What the heck's left upstairs, baby? Just a 1, right? Are you cool with me? All I have done is step 1, clean up the inside. Cool? Then we got to go way back to the beginning. Step 2 is to use that. The negative exponent reciprocates the base, right? So we've got that fraction all cleaned up on the inside. Now I need to reciprocate it, a.k.a. flip it over. What is the reciprocal of 1 over q squared? Q squared over 1, a.k.a. just q squared. You see how I flipped it over? And what does this become? He ain't -5 anymore. He is +5. So that's just a weird case. When it's the whole mamma jamma raised to a negative exponent, clean up on the inside first, then use the real rule. And then here's the thing. Man, we went all this way. Is that final answer q to the 7th or q to the 10th? Or a.k.a. should I add those together or should I multiply them? Multiply. So if there was a mistake, that would be my first thing I look at. Did I do the right thing at the end, you know? Because most of the time we've been adding all these guys. So sweet. Main question of the day. Does this have a negative exponent way outside? Yes or no? Yes. So rule 1, if there's a big old honker fraction, clean up what's inside first. The 7 has no one to mess with. The C's have a negative exponent. See if you get those in the right spot. The D's do not have a negative exponent, so I play where are there more. And then the H's has a negative exponent. They got to change houses and come upstairs, but there were no other H's up there, so don't just all 4 of them just go up there and be happy. Cool? Got it all cleaned up. Now we'll do this. I want you to say an R word to me back when I ask. What does this mean I do to the base? Reciprocates, right? Reciprocate. Good, good, good. So c to the 8th over 7d squared h to the 4th. He would be raised to the positive first, right? And I hope you realize that's the answer, right? When you raise something to the first power, that's it. Hey, speaking of which, I forgot, you know, like we had the short class period last time. Do you know what anything raised to the 0th power is, you know? It's 1. It's just like some sort of defined rule in mathematics that if you take anything in the world and raise it to the 0th power, you will get 1 back, right? It's just part of the rules. So, sweet. One more. Let's realize this. Doesn't this have a negative exponent on the outside? Even if it didn't, one way or another, when it's this whole group raised to an exponent, our first thing is clean up the inside, right? Clean up the inside. So 6 over 3 cleans up. X's, there are no negatives, so I'll play where are there more. The Y's, there are no negative exponents, so I play where are there more. And the Z's do have negative exponents. Don't get fooled. 2 of them have to come upstairs and join that other one. How many total Z's will be upstairs? 3. Little favor I have from you. If you start learning to cross the letter Z, you'll get way less confused if it's a 2 or a Z later, you know. So it's just one of those things. Even if you have really good handwriting, I got okay handwriting, you know. Hey, I forgot something, though. I forgot to put this -2 up there on the outside. That happens to people a lot, myself included. Now, since it's got a negative exponent, I shall reciprocate the base. So 1x over 2yz cubed should all be raised to the positive second power. And now everything in there gets squared. So this is multiplying the exponents. That would be x to the second. This little pink guy is a coefficient. He is a number. You just raise him to that power, and he will turn out to be a 4. And y to the second, z to the 6th. What do you think about negative exponents? My job today is finished, but I would like us to practice some. So we're going to go 3 at a time, right? Would you work with the neighbor? You know, do the first 3, then we'll put the answers up and check them, right? So talk yourselves through it. Pause the video, do the first 3, then I will totally show you the answers and see how we do. Here's what I got on the first 3 for all you out there. The big tricky guys are these guys. They're not negative exponents. They are negative coefficients, right? We're just simplifying the fractions on those. So try the next 3 and then check with 9. I guess there's only 2 of them in this line, not 3 of them, so we'll do these 2. Clean up the inside first. So I cleaned up the inside, but because we had double negative exponents on top of itself a couple times, I got to keep cleaning up the inside and play where are there more with these x's and z's. So it would be like that. Then we have a negative exponent. Once the inside's all cleaned up, the negative exponent reciprocates everything. That's on the inside, so you just flip them over. And then you square everybody. Ooh, what will that be when you square it? That's interesting. There she is. Check her. Bump it up a little bit for you guys. You can see it. The -1 squared becomes a +1, right? Because it's like -1 times -1. You know, it's a positive. Everything else, you're multiplying exponents. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. You're multiplying the exponents on that guy. And then there's one more. So I cleaned up the inside. I heard a lot of people keep saying the A's cancel out. They do. The A's cancel out. And then now that you got the inside all cleaned up, reciprocate using that negative part, and then you'll be raised to the +1, which means that's your final answer. Got a few more. We'll just keep going. I've cleaned up the inside. The 2 stays down. The C's, the 4 had to come up and join that other 2 dudes. D's, 5 came upstairs to join those 3, and that F just stayed up there. Then I shall use the negative part of the exponent to reciprocate. So flippy flippy. And then you cube everybody. And I'll bet we feel real good with this. That's not a C. A C to the 18th, a D to the 24th, and an F to the 3rd downstairs. My question is, what's upstairs? 2, 6, or 8? What's upstairs? Yes, this 2 is not an exponent. He is a coefficient. You must raise 2 to the 3rd power and get an 8. Cool? And then we'll do number 7 like a boss, right? Sometimes if you went ahead and did number 7 and did it the long way, there's nothing wrong with learning a lesson by doing something the long way the first time. I could care less what's inside of there. You can clean that up if you want to, but you're going to waste your time because they're taking the whole stinking thing to the 0th power. What will that always turn out to be? 1. So that's kind of like a little, hey, double check. Are they raising it to the 0? We're going straight to 1. No need to waste our time. Cool? All right. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a good one.